Alrighty, guys. Thank you for being here this fine Friday. Sorry, I had to travel back home over the week to deal with some family stuff, so we didn't have a Tuesday stream. Also, when I came back, I lost my voice a bit. Not sure if you guys can hear that, but I'm doing much better right now. So I'm happy to do this stream on Friday, and just so everyone's up to date. I believe Rolton and the team shared our streaming calendar. So Paragon at the Discord Paragon, we are now setting a proper schedule for the multiple different traders that are working with us to share their trades, their information, their education, their knowledge. And if you don't have that schedule, I'm sure the guys will be happy to share, and I'll be sharing that anyway. So for me, I will be streaming on Tuesdays and on Fridays at 4 p.m. Lisbon time every week, and I'm very happy to see that many of you have joined today. Yeah, let's get this show on the road. I'd like to follow the same structure that I usually do. First, go over some of the trades that we took. There weren't that many over the last week. I believe there were only two. The first one being Uni, the short for the fifth wave down. After I go over the trades, I'd like to highlight some potential trades, some interesting opportunities that I'm looking at. Then we'll go over BTC as usual in the middle high time frame, update you guys there, see where we're at in terms of our expectations. And then I'll close off with maybe some SMP update, maybe some tech stocks, and we can finish off with the Brent crude. So just following the same structure, I want everybody to get used to how the stream works, and so you're not lost. You understand how we're laying it out, and you get familiar with the structure. Right. So we'll start off with the first trade that we took. I believe this was shared late last week. And if you guys remember, I say that I mentioned, or I always mention in my streams, that there are two types of trades that you'll see me sharing publicly, okay, with limits. Okay. The first trade would be a counter of a fifth wave structure. Okay, so we see five waves to the upside or five waves to the downside, and then we would play the counter movement to that. So typical five wave structure, we'll go through the rules in more detail. But typical five wave structure, and what we're looking to do is after five waves, Elliott wave teaches us that we are expecting a reversal. So in this instance, what we're trying to do is catch the reversal. Okay. Now, this is where we want to enter on a five wave structure impulse to the upside. We'll be shorting. Okay. There's specific rules that we look for, that that we combine our this system to create this system, which adds confluence to and proper reasoning as to why we're targeting specific areas for the short, etc., and so forth. I will go over that again in detail, but just want to highlight the two different types of trades that I take. Okay, so the first one is the five wave reversal. Okay, the second one would be the fifth wave long or short. All right. So that would mean that we get a wave one, a wave two, a wave three. And once we see this wave three, we might be happy if we have the correct support and resistance to look for a fifth wave long, or in this instance, we're looking for a fifth wave short. Okay. So in these examples, so we're playing the fifth wave up or down. What we're looking to do is catch the fifth wave up, so enter here, and on the inverse, on the bearish impulse, we are shorting the fifth wave down. Okay, so as you can see in this example, which is the Uni USDT chart on the 15 minutes, we shorted the fifth wave down, so it would have been this example over here, and I would say that 1 in 4 of my trades, so around 25% of the trades that I share publicly, would be of this type. Um, it's I honestly prefer playing the fifth, the counter after the fifth wave, because it's a much higher probability play. Because we do sometimes see three wave corrective structures. So 1, 2, 3, it would be an ABC, right? So unless it's a 4 and a 5, this could come back up and it would be a corrective ABC structure, right? We speak about the two different wave structures or price action structures that Elliott Wave teaches about. The two most common ones are the fifth wave impulses, so five wave structures, and then you have your three wave corrective structure. So this would be a three wave corrective. Okay. In this occasion, I really liked the way the 1-2 was looking. Once I saw that we were breaking from this structure over here, I believe that we would be testing the lows. Okay, so there are some basic rules that we have to stick to in order to identify these potential plays and to understand what is valid and what isn't valid, what is invalid, and I speak about this, but I will continue to speak about this again and again until people start you're starting to see it and it starts being drilled in their heads, and then you guys can start sharing more examples, right? So the first rule that we go through in Elliott wave theory is that wave 2 on a bearish 5-wave structure cannot go above wave 1. All right, guys. So you have your wave 1. If the wave 2 comes above here, it's invalid. I don't want anyone sending me anything showing price on a bearish 5-wave structure where a wave 2 is even slightly above, even a hair above wave 1 high. Okay, so this high, once it's created, we're not taking it out. It also works on the inverse. What do I mean by that? This is a bearish 5-wave structure. Okay, this is a bearish 5-wave structure. Okay, now in a bullish 5-wave structure, wave 2 cannot go below wave 1. Right? Again, we speak about these rules a lot, but they're important, and you have to put it in your head and understand them, and train your visual memory and muscle memory to identify them, and don't play around with these rules. They're hard rules. If they get invalidated, just reset the count and look for something else. Okay, don't force it. The other rule that we're looking for is that wave 4, right? You have your wave 1, you have your wave 2, you have your wave 3. Wave 4 cannot touch the bottom of wave 1. Okay, so that's why my stop loss, as you see here, was actually right on the start of wave 1. I gave myself a little bit of a room here, tiny bit. Sometimes we might wick tiny. Okay, usually I don't like to play that. If I see that there's a wick into the wave 4, I will ignore it most of the times. But in this occasion, I decided to give a tiny bit of room further for the short. Okay, now if we're playing a 5-wave structure counter movement, which is the other type of trade, I would not allow the wave 4 at all to touch. If it does, I will completely delete the limit and cancel the trade. Okay, so the first rule, wave 2 cannot go above wave 1. Second rule, wave 4 cannot touch the bottom of wave 1. Okay, so even if it comes right here and then goes down, we're still good, right? This is still classified as a wave 5 down, right? So we set our entry on this lovely supply zone. There are many different terms of ways that you can call it. I believe in OICT they're called breakers, or it's a structure break, right? Basically, we come above this high, and we're trying to fight this support, stay above. Once we break below and make a new low over here, the structure is starting to shift. Okay, so there is a lot of indications that the bears do want to continue this trend to the downside, and we have a very interesting level below where we have a nice demand zone. This would count as well, but I'll explain why I targeted the lower one, where it looks like price should get there. Okay, so we have our entry right at the retest of the supply zone. Once we broke down, we have our clear invalidation, which is the bottom of wave 1, right? And we have a clear target. Now the target would be after the 2.618. Remember, we use the fib extension tool after we have a wave 1 and 2. We use the fib extension tool, which can be found in the Fibonacci toolkit, right? So you have your Fibonacci toolkit, you have your fib retracement, and you have your fib extension tool, right? What we do is we measure the top of wave 1 to the bottom of wave 1, then bring it to the top of wave 2, okay? Then you will see that we have our 1.618 and we have our 2.618. We like to see our wave threes on or after the 1.618 for my system. For the for the wave five, we like to see the wave five on or after the 2.618, right? So you can see that this 2.618 just came after this demand zone over here. So the clear and obvious target, which I set, was the one right below it. Okay, so it kind of makes sense. We broke back into this structure, into this range. There was a previous supply zone over here. Beat it, came back into it, broke the structure. We're looking for a fifth wave short. Okay. It was an excellent trade. We had to be a bit patient because we entered and it came back, bounced, came back, bounced, came back, bounced. We were break even for a bit, not really in the red too much, nothing to really worry about over here. But we kept our cool. We didn't move stop loss to break even too early, and we got the reward for it. Okay. Now I believe I TP'd right on this first demand zone. I did have a bit of a feeling that we might bounce, and we actually did. So it was quite a good move to take TP early. Still a nice trade overall. Still a decent win. And if we were to keep this trade, we would have ended up hitting the full TP. Right now, this starts to get a little ugly. This fifth wave is more sideways, less impulsive. A bit frustrating. However, it did end up going to our full target, right? So everything that I just discussed over here, guys, the same applies for the inverse, okay? So if we were longing a fifth wave up, it would be your one, your two, your wave three. We're looking for a pullback for wave four, and then a push up for wave five, okay? Setup would be identical but inverse. What do I mean by that? We're looking for some kind of demand zone, right? We're looking for us to beat this supply zone, flip into SR, flip, do an SR flip, a supply demand, support resistance flip, and price come back to that demand zone, which was a supply zone, and looking for a new high. Okay. Now we target our 1.618 and 2.618, right? And the setup would look something like this, right? So the setup would look something like this, okay? You have your wave one, you have your wave one. Oh, yeah, this is here. You have your wave one, you have your wave two. Let me mark them so it's clear. You have your wave one, you have your wave two. Wave two cannot go below wave one low. You have your wave three above this 1.618. You have your wave four, which cannot touch the wave top of wave one, and that's where we set our stop loss. And then you have our wave five on or slightly after the 2.618. All right, guys, pretty straightforward, pretty clear. Again, there are two main types of setups that I take. This is the second one. This one, you'll find me share this one fourth, around one fourth, one fifth of the time. I do like this setup. It does provide a nice RR. I do have quite a decent win rate on it, but you don't find them as clean or as often, right? So pay attention. There are two types of setups. This is the second one. So this would be the short or the fifth, or the long of the fifth wave. Invalidation at wave four, high or low. Target the 2.618 on or after, slightly after, looking for the next supply or demand zone. Okay. Now, I quickly want to go through a couple of examples or a couple of charts that I've been studying for potential plays that we could take today. Maybe not take today, but I could share today. We're still a bit far from it. The first one would be Doge, and it's a bit tedious. It is a tough task to be, searching through. Usually, I do scan around 150 charts every day, sometimes two or three times a day. If I do find a play quickly, I won't, scan for the sake of scanning. So if I do find two good potential trades to take, I will stop scanning. Sometimes that happens after 50 charts, sometimes after 10 charts, sometimes after 5 charts, sometimes I never find the setup, right? So uh, keeping your eyes open, scanning, being vigilant, um, not giving in, not giving up, not complaining, not being negative. These are very important things when scanning. Being open to receiving a potential trade is very open, right? Is very important, right? You need to approach your scans with a positive outlook, not in the sense that oh my god, I need to take a trade right now. Give me a setup. Oh my god, is that a setup? And seeing something that doesn't exist. No, however, you need to allow the charts to give you to receive from the charts, right? And sometimes you'll receive more, sometimes you'll receive less. You cannot let that uh, impact you emotionally. Okay. Now, what I'm seeing over here, and I hope many of you are seeing this too, this is on the 4 hour, right? It's not exactly clean up here, right? So it would have been really nice if we had this, right? If this wave two didn't go above the wave one, this would have been a very clean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? But that's not the case, right? So basically, what I'm telling you guys over here is that all of this here, I'm currently ignoring. I don't like any of that. I'm not playing this. Okay, so if we're playing the fifth wave structure, I'm deleting this section. But what I do like is this part right here. Okay, so we can see that all of our rules for 5 wave down, which is one, wave two doesn't go above wave one, right? You have your wave three, right? We have to get our fib extension tool, which we will. Now you have a push for wave four, and then we're looking for one more down. All right. Now let's check our fibs to make sure we're in agreement. As you can see, we have the wave three over here is after the 1.618. I would like to see this type of wave four where we do not, of course, touch wave one, ideally somewhere around here, and then one last rejection. And we can long, okay? Obviously, the potential long over here isn't as beautiful as it could have been if this was still in play, because we would play the 382. Remember, guys, when I play the counter movement of a 5 wave structure, I use the Fibonacci retracement tool, which you can find in the Fibonacci retracement toolkit, to tell me where to target, where my TP will be. Okay? Because when we have 5 waves, we are targeting the most common rejection in the 5 wave structure. Right? And that happens and that tends to be the 38.2 Fibonacci level. Excuse me, guys. The 38.2 Fibonacci level after a 5 waves up or 5 waves down. Okay, so if we were playing this entire segment over here, from the top of here to here, which we can't because it's invalid, our target, our entry would be here, let's say. Our target would be the 38.2 of the top here to the expected entry, which would be our hypothetical bottom. Okay. Now, because we don't like this section, we're only playing this internal 5 wave count, which is beautiful and clean. So we should not ignore it. We should absolutely still pay attention to it. And we are targeting the 38.2. Okay. So you can see that there's a big difference depending on the size of the 5 wave structure. All right. Big difference. This one is considerably big. This is a 40% play from entry. This is a 22% play from entry. The stop loss on this one is 22%, 21.2% away from entry. The stop loss on this one is 12.9% from entry. I still have the same RR on both, but as you can see, depending on the length of the 5 wave structure, that has full control over the size and the spread of your entry, not your entry, your the distance from your entry to your TP and the distance to your entry and SL. Okay, So the larger the five wave structure, the longer the distance will be for your stop loss, and the longer the distance will be for your take profit. I'm watching this very closely. I have one alert set here already. I'm already putting my second alert so I don't miss this. Don't want to miss this at all. I will probably share this trade on my channel as we start to break down. I don't want to share it just yet because if we do invalidate, it would be a pointless cancellation. So we'll be a little bit more patient here. We'll wait for this to play out and looking to take this play, right? Now, when we're going for where we're targeting, right? Now, where is our entry, Rami? Why are we targeting this specific entry for a bounce, right? Like, there's nothing here. We just broke this low, so we have to pull back. We have to look to the left and check historical data, guys, because every piece of data on the chart is important and paints a little bit of a picture and paints a story. Okay, now you can see my rectangle over here. It's an obvious and clear demand zone. You have one push up, two pushes up, three pushes up, four pushes up, five pushes up, six pushes up, seven pushes up, eight pushes up, nine pushes up, maybe three pushes up over there. Right? So we have around 10 bounces on that support level. Okay. If I have my five wave structure and I have my fibs matching and I have my if I have all the rules in terms of Elliott wave sticking and I have my clear demand zone where I've seen price uh, bears and bulls, basically bears and bulls fought over that zone before, and we are coming to retest that zone. I am pretty confident that we have a high probability play. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty simple. We have our 2.618. I highlighted two potential entries over here. I would most likely go for the safer one, which would be the lower one. Um, and I would have to identify where, because we're playing this. We're not playing, as mentioned, we're not playing the entire thing, right? We're not playing this entire structure, right? If we played this entire structure, it would be quite nice. Why? Because we're covering this low. Okay. Now, if we're playing the internal structure, it makes our stop loss a bit tighter, as we discussed. However, we are covering all of these lows. Okay. So it still looks okay. Obviously, I would have preferred to cover this one as well. However, there are too many bounces there. Our entry is absolutely valid. The five wave structure is absolutely valid. Watch this space. I will keep you guys posted if we get the alert. If you want, you can mark the alerts yourself. You can see the setup as I've shared it here. And if I do, for some crazy reason, forget or don't receive my alert, you guys can take this as long as we do not, as long as we do not invalidate. Okay. So if we invalidate, come to the bottom of wave one, the setup is canceled. It's over, guys. Right? Okay, so I'm happy that I got to show you guys my thought process here, and this is a potential trade that we can all take together. Hopefully, print. Want to give you another example. I believe Zek was a pretty good one. Avalanche Zek. Okay, Sui's not a bad one. Sui's not a bad one. Again, same thing with Sui. I'm not such a big fan of this over here. Although it could be valid. This could be your one, two, three, four, and five. It does it does it is quite a thick one, two, right? Maybe even this. So maybe this could be the wave three bounce that we're playing in this internal structure. I'm not so sure. When I'm not so sure, I don't like to force things. But what I do like is, let me come here. What I do like is a clear support zone here and clear support zone here. Okay. You can see, we can even drag this a bit lower if you guys want. Okay. You can see that we've had multiple engagements with this supply zone, which has caused bounces. Right. This one is extremely valid. Nice bounce here. Okay. What I do really like about this, and it's the same as Doge, what I just shared, If we go on the 1 hour and we dig closer and we, start opening it up a bit and try to figure out exactly what's going on there, we will see that this is actually producing a very clean five-wave structure. Okay. So you have, again, let me remind you guys, you have your wave one, you have your wave two. Wave two does not go above wave one. You have your wave three. We're going to get our fib extension tool to confirm that the wave three is after the 1.618. You have our wave four. Wave four cannot go on wave one. Then you have your wave five into a good and crucial demand zone. Okay. Now, another thing I'd like to highlight with this setup is that even though I don't want to play this entire thing over here, okay, by calling this a 1-2, it could be valid. Again, guys, it could be valid. But I don't want to play this over here. I'm not too comfortable with calling this my 1-2. I'd rather take this here, take this small section here and leave it. But what I do like about this is a potential retest on a retail geometric pattern or geometric tool, right? A simple trend line. Okay. You had all Tom, Dick, and Harry longing the breakout over here. No confirmation. Sorry, guys. We're dumping on you. Right? Nice liquidity grab by the market makers again. You guys know how much we talk about fake outs on retail patterns, fake outs on channels, fake outs on trend lines. Okay, nice breakout. If you were a breakout trader there, you would have started well, and then it would have dumped on you, and you probably wouldn't know where to put your stop loss, and maybe even still be in the trade. Um, So we have our five waves down. We have a nice demand zone. I will check the fib extension, but what we also do have is a breakout and retest of a retail geometric pattern. Okay, so this one is looking good as well. I've set my alerts. Let's check our fib toolkit, our fib extension toolkit. In the fib toolkit. Sorry guys, I'm a bit tired today. I don't know what I got. I probably got some virus while traveling. Uh, but I'm feeling much better. So we go top of wave one to the bottom of wave one and measure. To bring it to the top of wave two and measure. As you can see, our wave three is after the 1.618, and our potential wave five is after the 2.618. Okay. So another nice setup. I have the alerts ready. I'm very keen on taking it. Probably I will aim to take this on the first level because I have my retail trend line retest. Okay. This one seems a bit a bit too stretched. So we would go low risk on this one. No harm giving it a shot, right? Okay, guys. Now this one is the opposite. This is a potential short that I am watching. Okay. I like this one too over here. This is AAVE for those that weren't sure. This is AAVE. And what I'm liking over here is this one too. Clear one too. We have a clear wave three. Looks like it's after the 1.618. We can confirm. And then we have a wave four, which doesn't come to the top of wave one, and a push for wave five. Okay, now this wave five is already quite extended. We did get some nice rejection here. If you did enter over here, you probably would have put your stop loss to break even. I don't think it would have hit our target. Maybe we would have taken some partials, but you definitely wouldn't have lost here on the first encounter with the supply zone. Okay, we didn't really have a supply zone over here that I'm too happy about. I'm really liking this in this level, although we're starting to get quite extended for a fifth wave. So I'm going to set my alerts here. I do like the idea of something like this. Okay, I do think that's very possible. We are starting to be a bit more extended than I would like, but structure is still valid. There's no reasons to believe that we can't get somewhat of a rejection at these key supply zones. Okay, serious supply zones over there, guys. We haven't come back to them since the 16th and 10th of May, right? So it's been more, let's say 40 days, 45 days, 40 days, 40, oh, more. Anyway. So I'm watching this very closely. I also noticed that we do have a decent trend line over here. Okay. More confluence, guys. More confluence, more confluence. Remember, guys, our job is to be investigators. Our job is to wear our inspection hat, have your eyes open. If your eyes are not open, do not open the charts. Your job is to be as clear headed and clear in the eyes as possible. Okay. You need to look for more reasons to give you confidence to take a specific trade, right? To put the probabilities on your side so that when you're taking the trade, the work is done before the trade. You've already planned the trade, and the only thing you need to do is trade the plan. Okay, which is another part where we discuss a lot, and it's quite hard to do. Um, you know, planning the trade is extremely important. I believe most of the work is done there, right, in terms of decision making. However, it's really hard to maintain that same thought process, same confidence, same mindset, same belief uh, while you're in the trade, which is why your work off the trade has to be so solid. Because if you have the confidence in your work outside, then you're not questioning yourself, you're not doubting, you're not second guessing, you're not changing, you're not doing a lot of the things that a lot of traders, including myself, still do, even after 6 years of being a professional trader. All right. So AAVE is quite nice. I'm going to just mark my supply zones here. And I would take this as a short, probably on the first level, guys. Probably on the first level. I mean, it's quite a wide. So what I'm doing over here is, again, I'm using the fib retracement tool under the Fibonacci toolkit to determine where my short target would be. Okay, so I'm doing the opposite from what I was doing before. I'm going from the bottom of wave one to the top of, or to the hypothetical top, which would be where my entry is, should be at our supply zone. Okay. And as you can see from muscle memory, I was not too far away from the 382 as a target or the SL, right? This would be the correct target. This would be the correct SL. Okay. Now, I don't mind doing entering from the first one. You can say, but Rami, you have another level, you have another supply zone, which is arguably safer. Didn't you say we should take the safer zone? Yes, that's true. However, we are covering a significant amount here, right? We are covering ourselves, we're covering this high, we're giving some gaps, right? We're still giving some room. Okay. So I am setting my alerts right now. Hopefully, we don't reject, and I will happily share this trade. Okay. Now, there always is a possibility that this isn't a five-wave structure and we've been duped. Right? And what we've done here is make a 1-2, and then this guy goes for a full send. It's possible. Of course, it's possible, but I don't see a clear fifth wave over here. Okay, so it gives me a little bit of a confidence, even if this is a 1-2, we are still encountering a serious resistance. So maybe it will dump and then continue. Right? In that case, we're still entering from a position of strength, so we don't have that much to worry about in terms of price just slicing through us and cutting through all support and starting off with an instant loss. But everything is possible. We have to have our mind open when it comes to that. Zek is another one. Zek is another interesting one. Let me go, I believe, on the 15 minutes. Let me see what I have. Nope, 2 hours again. Okay. Not the cleanest, not the cleanest, but I can see this working out, guys. Okay, it's the 1-2 isn't very clean over here, but it is valid. You can say that this is your 1-2, or you can say that this is your 1-2. right? You have your three over here, you have your four, and you have your five. Okay, liking this demand zone. Nice demand zone since the 6th of June. Haven't come back to it yet. Right? We can call this our one, our two, our three, our four, and our five. Let's get our fib extension tool. You can see wave three is after the 1.618. Wave five is after the 2.618. I believe we could get some kind of a channel in there as well. We indeed can. We indeed can, guys. Okay. So as you can see, my thought process, I'm doing this again with different charts, showing you how it's working, how I'm building confidence in my ideas, in my setup. We have 4 or 5 different reasons why this is a good idea to be longing at a specific zone. Again, I've set my alerts. It's the same concept here again. Why am I on log? That's a weird one. We were on log here. Okay, so on log things change a bit. It's still valid, but we wouldn't take this entire thing from a wave one. I would say maybe this is your wave one, two, and then an extended third. So the way I would count this is wave one, wave two. Let me delete. It's quite dirty. Let me delete. Okay. Okay. We have our wave one, we have our wave two, and then we have a one, two, three, four, and five for wave three, and then a wave four, and then a wave five. Okay, because remember, guys, in Elliott wave theory, you have 5 wave structures, which are called impulses. Okay, and Elliott wave theory is a fractal based analysis. That means it works on multiple time frames. I've taken my system that you see being played out over here. I've taken it on multiple different time frames, whether it's the seconds, minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 4 hour, daily, weekly. Okay, so it works on multiple time frames. But what we see in impulses, and it's not always the case, and it's not always so clean, okay, but what we see sometimes is that we get extensions and clear impulses within the impulse. Okay, so technically speaking, there should be 5 waves in wave one. Okay, then an ABC, 3 wave correction, then 5 waves for wave three, then a 3 wave correction, then 5 waves for wave five. Okay, so what you have is your impulses, which are waves one, three, and five, and you have your corrections, which are 3 wave most of the time. Okay, wave four can get very complex. We'll go over that later, right? But we have our 5 wave structures, which are your impulses, waves one, three, and five, and you have your corrective structures, which tend to be 3 wave ABCs or other. Okay, so just giving you an example here. What we see is a one, two, and then a one, two, three, four, five. So we're having an extended third wave here. Okay, this is what I'm trying to say. Now we have a wave four, then we're looking for one more down, right? In this example, again, fib toolkit, fib retracement. Where are we targeting, Rami? Where are we targeting? Okay, our hypothetical bottom, which is our nice demand zone over here, right? We have our 382 take profit and our negative 0.21 stop loss, which gives us an RR of 1.8 to around 2.2. Okay, it's usually what I go for in this instance. It's 1.86. Really liking this setup. Will be sharing this if we break down. I might, share 2 longs and maybe the short and go 0.25 on the longs, or maybe 3 longs and go 0.25 on each of the longs, and then maybe 0.5 on the short. Okay. Again, alerts are set. I will keep you guys very posted on setup and all the other setups that I shared as well. Okay. Okay, guys. Now let's go over to BTC, our love, the love of our life, BTC. which sometimes reciprocates the love and other times not so much. But recently, she's been a very, very, very good chart to analyze. We've been pretty much on point, guys. We've been doing really well over here. Things are playing out. I don't want to say exactly as expected, but as close as possible to exactly. We've nailed many moves over here back to back. I still have the same levels marked out that I always had. We were calling the long from here, we were calling the short from here, and we were targeting our 54K level. And it's looking like we are heading there, guys. It's looking like we are absolutely heading there. From an Elliott Wave perspective, internally, uh, I I don't want to overthink this, but I would call this a 1-2. Okay, and this a 3, and this a 4. I'm looking for a fifth wave up. Okay, externally, I'm looking at this being a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and a wave 5. Okay, so same exact count that we've been looking at for quite some time. The fibs match. We have our key demand zone over here that we've been watching. Haven't tapped there since August last year. What? August 2 years ago. Sorry. And yeah, it's looking good. We did really well selling a lot of our BTCs with an average of around 112. I sold around 50% of my BTCs, and I publicly let everybody know that I would be DCAing back into into BTC at 67K. Okay, so I had 67K, I had 60K, I had 57K, which we are really close to filling. I have 54K, I have 50K, and I have 48K. Okay, and we spoke about this. I know many other traders in the group have been on point as well with their analysis on BTC. I know that Killa has been talking about his mindset and his approach as a trader, as a scalper, and as an investor. And it's important to differentiate the two. Okay, many of you will be like, "Oh, but Rami, why didn't you nail the top at 67K?" My job, my aim was to stack Sats. When I sold at 112, 113, half of my BTC, I was already looking at where I would buy BTC again because my only goal was to double the amount of BTC that I'm holding. Okay. And if I sold at 112 or 113 or 115 or 120, and then I rebought at 67, 60, 57, I'm doing exactly that. Okay. So I'm not trying to time the market bottom perfectly. I'm trying to enter in a place where I'm comfortable to start DCAing and stacking sats. And also be in a place where if it does bounce, which we did bounce, I wouldn't be shitting my pants, right? I wouldn't be shitting my pants, worried that the train left without me, okay? Because I'm in. I was already in. I was already in. 2 out of 6 of my limits already filled. It's not a lot, but I was already in. I was anticipating this low that we're getting here, okay? Now, I believe there's also a nice retest of a trend pattern right here, guys. Okay. Sorry for the mess. I will delete a few things so it doesn't look that messy. But yep, we have a really nice retest of a retail trend line. Okay, guys. So how am I playing this? All right, on my spot, I already told you guys. I already have a few entries already in filled, and I have a few entries below, and I'm going to keep that with no stop loss. Okay. However, we did speak about a mega long for futures, where we target 250K plus. Okay, with the stop loss being at this low over here. Okay, stop loss is around 15K. Let's call it 15K. Right, and we're going straight away for that. There is also another potential setup that we could take, where we're looking for a bounce, just a bounce. Why? We spoke about this many times, guys. Why? Because this is a five-wave structure. That means we would naturally target the 382. So maybe we can take some profits along the way. Okay? We would, if we get a bounce here, we could take some profits along the way. Why? Why would I consider doing that? And let me remind you guys, let me refresh your memories that there are two ways I see this playing out in the higher time frame. Okay. And the two ways I see this playing out is either we full send here, right? And what we've done here is one, two, three, four, five. And we got our A down. Remember, three-wave corrective structures. B up, and then five waves down for C. So the correction is done. The bulls are ready to go. The bull market continues. And there's arguments for us having a sharp correction over here with we're seeing the corrections actually being less and less with time. I believe Killa did a nice study on that, analyzing all the major corrections that have taken place. And then the other option, so we have this. The other option is that we actually did a five waves here. So this would be an extended third, fourth, and fifth. And now this is our A down. So our A down, then we bounce for a B up, and then come back down one more time before we full send. Okay. All right, guys. It's pretty straightforward. It's pretty easy. It's two options for me. I am already starting to DCA with BTC. I am extremely bullish on BTC for the long term. There are just two ways I see this playing out. Okay. And I'm ready for either or. Right? If we start bouncing and start breaking some serious resistances, we can, maybe confirm which one of the two I'm leaning towards most. But at the moment, I'm just focusing on entering the market, starting to re-enter, buying the lows, buying the supports, not panicking, I'm breathing, market's down. Every time I go out, I almost don't like to speak about what I do and being a crypto trader because everyone keeps telling me it must be really bad for me. Like, oh, the market's so bad now, it must be horrible. No, no, no. There's something called technical analysis. With technical analysis, you don't panic, you time the market. You know when trends are about to exhaust on either side. Okay, sounds like dark magic to you. That's why I have a crystal ball. That's why I can predict the future. I can't actually predict the future, guys, but I'm being sarcastic here. Okay, but it's funny when I talk about this stuff because most people think Bitcoin's going to zero again. And it happens every fucking goddamn time, guys. Every fucking time. We are in max panic. Everybody starts panicking. People start saying they've made the biggest mistake of their life. Nobody's buying. Retail deletes Coinbase. Binance is moving from top one app to 15th. And then it bounces. We got this low again and again and again and again. Reminder to everybody that this was the FTX low, right? Just a subtle reminder, right? So if we do get some really bad news, that even gives me more fuel into my belief. Okay, I actually caught this here. I actually did really well here and was buying. Right, so be careful, guys. Don't get trapped with the noise. The noise is there to confuse you. Our structure, our plan is what it is. Now it's our job to trade it. Okay. Let's go to ETH. Quick update on ETH, guys. Quick update on ETH. Okay, same structure. Really liking 1000. I really like this lower channel over here. The count remains the same. Nothing changes. This is a really super quick update. Also, wouldn't mind 691, 700, maybe a deeper fake out. Anything below 1050, I am buying ETH and I'm targeting 10K. You heard it here first, guys. I'm not an ETH fan. I'm not an ETH holder, but I will be buying. Okay. I'm really liking this five wave structure up here and then an ABC. Makes it super clear to me that we've impulsed and then pulling back right now. And after an impulse and then a pullback, which looks like a three wave structure into a channel, fuck me, take my money, man. All right. It's pretty straightforward, guys. I hope you're understanding why and how and what. Or just going back to something that I shared 2 weeks, 4 weeks ago, actually, maybe even longer, 6 weeks. Nothing changes, no changes at all. Plan remains the same. I have one friend that every time BTC bounces 2%, he messages me, "Have we bottomed? Have we bottomed? Is this the bottom?" Man, it must be really, really, really hard. If you're hearing this, Matthias, it must be really hard, bro. Just let it be. Let it be. Stick to your plans, stick to your guns. Trust the process. Once we get it right, it's going to feel amazing. Okay? Just don't panic. If you're doing things from a position of fear or panic, you already know you lost. If you're doing things from a position of abundance and love and passion and positivity and belief, you're doing something right. Okay? If you're panicking in your trades, stop trading. Lower your risk. If you're doing things comfortably, you're doing it right. Okay? Simple, easy. Couldn't explain it better than that. Yep. Now let's go quickly to our friends in America. SPX. SPX. All right, guys. Not much to update over here. Still expecting a massive shit show crash uh, in across the stocks. Maybe we'll get one last push up. Started pushing down here. Not much has happened. Got a kick down, bounce, and now we're rejecting again. Things are not looking so great for me here. There are many reasons for me to believe that we are due a massive 40, 50, 60% crash across stocks. All right. Yeah. Probably 50% looks right to me. Okay. Things don't look any different over here. Even this last internal count, I like the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Again, maybe we do get one last big push up. Squeeze, grab as much liquidity, get people to forget that we're in a multi-year bull market, which is artificially being propped up by money supply and printing and debt, and that this shit show will come to an end soon, guys. Okay, so do not fall for the tricks. Okay, be prepared. Mark. If I were you guys right now, I would be studying all the companies in China, in the US, assets, even alts. I would be just studying all the projects out there that you really like, commodities, everything, and just looking for major discounts and already plugging in your limits. Okay? Find your limits, find your companies that you like, whatever they're at right now, minus 50%, plug your limit. That's all you have to do. Okay? Just don't buy the top. That's all I'm asking. Nvidia. Let's do Nvidia. Let's do Nvidia. Okay. Whoa. Okay. I haven't really been paying attention to this. I haven't really been on the charts that much, guys, and I don't really care too much about American stocks. However, when I see a five wave structure, I cannot ignore it. Okay. Same idea. Tech stocks are doomed. I've sold a lot. I remember I played this fifth wave up. I bought at 88. So I bought it here, sold at 190, around 190, 185, 190. We still have a little bit. Uh, I still have around 20% of my Nvidia stock. I'm going to get rid of it. But what I already did do is put limit entries again at 88. Okay. So I already have my limits set at 88 again. Okay? The other day, someone told me, "Man, you're crazy. That's never going to happen." Sure. I've heard that one before. All right, guys. I don't want to sound too cocky. I don't want to sound too that I'm absolutely going to be right here. Everything is possible. I'm aware of that. I'm just in the business of making money. And you never make money buying the fear, buying the greed. You only make money. You only make real money buying the fear, right? And sell the greed, buy the fear. Sell the greed, buy the fear. For me, we are in high greed here. Okay. All right. Let's close off, guys, with Brent. It seems again. Whoa. Strange. My chart for Brent is no longer here. Ah, there it is. Okay, guys. Okay. Okay. So our analysis here was indeed, in fact, wrong. Okay. Started off really well. I expected the play that I was looking for was a one, two, a three up, a fourth down, and then a fifth up. Okay. Now we did good here because we did anticipate this wave four down and then a push up. Okay. So if you did take this around here, you were in decent profits. What I did expect though is for us to take out this all-time high, which we didn't do. Okay. Now that's a shame because I was in this. Actually, it's close to my entry right now. I think I'm going to offload some of it. I did buy in January or in February. I bought in January, end of January, and yeah, it's coming to. So guys, we've touched the top of wave one. So technically, this fifth wave up count is invalid. There is a bullish count left. There is a possibility that we do have a bullish count still in this. I spoke about this one of the times, which is a complicated, truncated fifth wave. So one, two, three, four, and five. Wave five, not higher than wave three. It's very rare, but it's very possible. And it's called a truncated fifth wave. Okay? And then what we would see is an ABC and then push up here. That's possible. But I'm starting to lean more towards, and I need to look for another chart, okay, which is cleaner. And I will share this update. Possibly come back down to this channel, right? So I'm very curious as to what we do if we come back here. Because I'd be expecting a bounce at the very least. All right, guys. Peace is good for the world. I'm happy that America finally understood that there isn't much that we can do, and they'll have to accept um, sovereign states exist, regardless of what you think of those sovereign states. Yeah, where everybody has to um, understand that we can't have people policing others and telling them how to live and operate their countries and societies. So the war looks like it's coming to a close. It looks like Taco Trump chickened out. I wasn't expecting that. I was not expecting that. We still don't have the pen to paper. We still are only in an MOU. Okay. So things could change very fast. There's a lot of things in the terms. I'm not sure if you guys have looked at it, but there's a lot of things in the terms that haven't even been discussed. We're talking nuclear, ballistic missiles, all of that stuff. Um, I am quite into geopolitics, as you guys probably realized by now. However, I try to base my investing and trading decisions outside the realm of news. Maybe I try to analyze what will happen and I ignore mainstream media because usually mainstream media just messes your head. Okay, guys, I will leave 2 minutes for any questions. Thank you to all that have made it. I had a really good time. Apologies if my voice wasn't so clear this week. Feel free to write in chat if you have any questions and I can go over them, or if you have any charts you want to share with me. If not, I am available to the Apex members as always. Just tag me in the chat and happy to have a look. I'd really appreciate if you guys share more charts with me and try to find five-wave structures. This helps us find more opportunities, as I always say. So please feel free to do that. And yeah, I'll leave 1 minute for questions. If we don't have any, I will see you guys on Tuesday or on the Discord. All right, guys, it looks like there are no questions. So much love. Take care. Have a blessed weekend, blessed Friday, wherever you are. And we will, the stream will continue on Tuesday. See you there, guys. Hope you had a good one.